Hi everybody, just a very short video here. I want to outline what sometimes happens. It's not very frequent, but it does cause me some frustration when these things happen. We occasionally receive an email of complaint from a member that may have joined the signature credit recoupment in 2024 or in 2025. And the theme of the complaint, and Miss Gillespie here is one of those that seems to fire in a complaint which may be coordinated, and it may actually be Simon Goldberg or Dan Needle's blogs that are causing these types of complaints. But here's the theme of the complaints which we receive from time to time. There are not very many of them, but there is a theme to these complaints. It goes a bit like this. The complainer writes an email saying, I paid money some time ago, I've not had any communications or updates, and because you haven't delivered my recoupment so far, I want you to either give me my money back, or I want you to basically cancel all the services and send me back all of the proprietary filing documents and electronic records to do with the process. So it's either give me my money back or give me all of the proprietary filing records because allegedly they belong to the member. Well, obviously the proprietary filing method, the granular detail of how the signature credit recoupment is filed, the way that we identify the securities, the way that we clear the pathway for the recoupment to happen by making sure that the payer, that's the investment bank, has paid sufficient taxes into the United States Treasury, the fact that we have employed electronic filing software through an ERO and an electronic reporting officer with a license, a tax preparer license. All of these things belong to the tax preparer license holder. The actual exact methodology with the granular detail of what is inserted into the filing software and all of the research that goes on to discover where the abandoned credit taxes actually, which security they belong to, is proprietary to the ERO license holder, who's working for the benefit of the membership, of course. But the license holder isn't going to hand over all of the electronic records that relate to the process because they are proprietary. So let's just unpack this a little bit. I won't keep you very long. But the allegation that a member has paid money and has received nothing for it. Let's have a look at that allegation. So this particular member, Ms. Gillespie, she claims that she paid money and she's had nothing in exchange. Okay, so let's look at that. First of all, Ms. Gillespie would have paid OSN LLC, which was 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐧's US company, a company formed in Wyoming, OSN LLC, and as I'm sure that the majority of those watching this short video will know, 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐧 stole all of the funds which were under private trust that were in OSN LLC, and she created secret trusts, and she stole all the funds from those as well. And there is an active case going on in New York, which is this case here, SDNY case here that I've just highlighted. So there is a case going on in relation to who those funds belong to. And I have said repeatedly that those funds do not belong to 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐧, and she has no evidence to support the ridiculous claim that she's been making to the court that the funds that she had, or the funds that are in question, belong to 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐧. It's quite a ludicrous claim to make when there's nothing to back it up. But let's get back to Miss Gillespie. So Miss Gillespie claims that she paid us money. Well, the reality is she paid OSN LLC. Now, as I have said on many interviews in the past, people who are out there who do not know the facts repeat and repeat and repeat the same allegation. Oh, I paid Iain money and he didn't deliver services to me. Well, for the record, I have never received any funds from any member from day one of the Matrix Freedom PMA all the way through until today. I have never received any funds because I do not offer any membership services myself. The fees, subscriptions, donations are paid to entities within, originally within the Matrix Freedom PMA. Those entities are not my entities, so they could be LLCs, could be a limited company from the UK. These organisations are not mine. So the allegation that people often say, I paid you money and you haven't delivered any services, is completely lacking any substance and foundation. It is a misunderstanding based upon false information that's been put out there by the likes of Simon Goldberg, by the likes of Dan Needle. She's paid money, allegedly, and she hasn't had any services. Well, the original, she actually came into the programme in February 2025. She had all of the services, an exhaustive range of services were performed for her up until that point of the sabotage in September of 2025, when 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐧 closed all the bank accounts access, undermined all of the recoupment filings by filing in the fraud identity reports to the IRS, which is being investigated by the IRS right now, because that is wire fraud, and it's a very serious matter, and has caused members massive amounts of damage, despite the bullshit that 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐬𝐴RRIS was putting out there a few months ago, and despite other bullshit stories that were going around. The sabotage was a major problem, not only for the membership, but it was a major problem for us to continue. And it's only because of the determination of our team that we are still, still pursuing the original objective, which is to build a sovereign nation with its own infrastructure and deliver all of the recoupments for the members. Now, if we hadn't have had that determination, the September sabotage attempt and the theft of the funds and the undermining of all the filings could quite honestly could have just completely destroyed the organisation, which is what it was designed to do. But because of the determination to carry on, we have carried on. But the likes of Miss Gillespie claim that she's had no services. Exhaustive services were provided to Miss Gillespie prior to the September sabotage at September 2025, and since then the whole process has been refiled. The whole process, which I've explained on my video, which I put in the Telegram channel yesterday. The process is a lot more involved than a lot of people are aware of. I don't think they have a comprehension of the extent of the steps and how much effort and how much is put into the entire A through Z process of signature credit recoupment. It's a very big process. It's a very big process with lots of steps that have to be very carefully executed to get the result. But according to Miss Gillespie, she's had no services, and there's been no evidence of any services. Despite the fact that her platform has been updated with the progress, despite the fact that she's received multiple emails in relation to the progress being made, despite the fact that I've done many webinars, interviews, and we have exhaustive information on our members' Telegram channel, she claims that she doesn't have any idea about any of these things, which is quite extraordinary to me. That she doesn't appear to know that there was a sabotage, that her entire process was repeated at no cost to her. Now I'm going to explain this because I don't think a lot of people comprehend this. Miss Gillespie paid OSN LLC. OSN LLC is 𝐂𝐤𝐢𝐧's company. She locked everybody out of that and took the money in September that was remaining in the organisation. So that left, it left our organisation and our membership with no funds. She also took all the funds from the trusts. There were 2 trusts, and all of this is the focus of the lawsuit, the New York lawsuit. So we were left in the middle of September of 2025 with no funds, having got a very large team to pay. At that time we had nearly 80 full-time contractors working on all of the Great Escape protocols and everything else that we're working on. So, you know, given the fact that we had massive monthly overhead cost and 𝐂𝐤𝐲 had stolen all of the funds that did not belong to her, and then you had 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐼𝐴 pumping out information that basically that our recoupment programs don't work and people were never going to get an outcome. That was a coordinated sabotage attempt by 𝐂𝐤𝐲 and by 𝐂𝐥𝐢𝐼𝐴, who is still, I believe, repeating that story now. So Miss Gillespie has received this email confirming that she had received services, and since September she has received a complete refiling of her signature credit recoupment, which is multiple elements to it. It's not just one bank account that she's recouping the signature credit from. There are 3. A massive amount of work's been done at with no receipt of funds from Miss Gillespie, because the fees that she paid went to OSN LLC, where 𝐂𝐤𝐲 took those funds. So in good faith, we have provided to all of the members that are remaining in the process, of which there are several thousand, at no receipt of funds. And I don't think a lot of people realise this. All of the filing services that have been conducted since September of 2025 have been provided with no receipt of funds from any of the members that are in the programme. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, Ian, I don't care about that. I paid for a service and you haven't delivered it. And I understand that that is what it appears. But there is a huge but here. And every single member that was in the programme would have had their recoupments in the latter part of 2025 if it hadn't have been for the sabotage. So, we have been delivering round the clock, trying to replace what was already in progress and just about to pay out for our members, as evidenced by the 600 million of IRS confirmed recoupments, as I've been mentioning on my videos in relation to Dan Needle. And all of those recoupments were sabotaged and many more. We would be sitting here today with people in receipt of their recoupments if it hadn't have been for 𝐂𝐤𝐲, 𝐁𝐸𝐴, Lisa Griffin and many others. So it would be refreshing, and it would be I think it would be more collaborative if the membership, people like Miss Gillespie, actually paid attention to the emails, the webinars, the interviews that I've done since September about this problem and what we're doing to overcome it. And it would be even more refreshing if she hadn't have complained that allegedly she paid money, hadn't received a service. She doesn't know what's going on, and she now, wants all of the proprietary filing methodology sent to her because allegedly she's entitled to that. It's quite ridiculous. Anyway, thank you for watching.